Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon and the Great Conjunction is happening. It's happening. Crunchyroll and HBO Max, just as we have been telling you for the last 6 or 8 months, they're basically gonna combine. We've said this before. We said this is the long-term game plan for Warner Media is to combine all of their various streaming services under one umbrella, that being HBO Max. That includes the DC streaming service, Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth. We're seeing it happen. Just people aren't picking up on the fact that it is actually happening right now. I think a year or two from now, I think Crunchyroll as an independent service, streaming service, is going to be gone. And I think it's basically going to be anime on HBO Max. Why maintain 3 or 4 different streaming services when you can pull all your resources into one? That is the mentality from what we've been hearing from different people working with and alongside of Warner Media. So before we get into the video, and this video is going to be pretty cool because we're going to talk about a lot of animated content, a lot of pop culture coming to HBO Max, and how Batwoman probably got a reprieve from cancellation because of HBO Max. Also, how Rooster Teeth's Genlock basically got a reprieve because of HBO Max. So before we get into the video, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. We're almost at 70,000 subs, hoping to hit 100,000 soon. Thank you so much for your support. So before we get into it, first we're going to talk about Crunchyroll. Not to be like, we told you so, but we've been saying for a while that Crunchyroll will probably roll into HBO Max. It will just be the anime available on HBO Max. It does not make sense to have Crunchyroll as a standalone service. It does not make sense to have Rooster Teeth as a standalone service. All this content, they're basically at this point producing content for HBO Max. And this would include the CW. Now, Warner Media had a huge presentation on HBO Max and they showed a trailer showing some of the content coming. They had Sesame Street, they had a lot of the DC, live action DC movies, they had some classic movies, and they had Batwoman. Now, Batwoman just got picked up. And people were surprised because Batwoman's ratings are terrible. Batwoman does not have very good ratings. They said that Batwoman is actually doing better on streaming, on video on demand. And they're saying that because HBO is basically going to bankroll Batwoman, I think. Kind of like they did with Rooster Teeth with Genlock Season 2. I think if Rooster Teeth were left on their own, left to their own devices, given all the financial problems they've been having, there would not be another season of Genlock, given how expensive the show undoubtedly is. Batwoman, again, they need content for HBO Max, so they're going to take a chance on Batwoman, and Batwoman's probably going to be available at launch, given that she's in the trailer. So HBO is going to bankroll Genlock and Batwoman, because they're desperately in need of content to beat Disney. They're going head to head with Disney. And Disney's bringing Marvel and Star Wars and all of that. But I got to tell you, Batwoman aside, Genlock aside, there's a lot of animated content coming to HBO Max, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. We've already talked about, we're essentially getting a new season of Adventure Time. They are, of course, bringing all this Crunchyroll content to HBO Max, but we're also getting the Studio Ghibli library. We're getting everything Ghibli has done on HBO Max. I mean, this is, comparing the two side by side at this point, HBO Max with Disney Plus, I gotta tell you, I'm actually more excited about HBO Max than I am Disney Plus, because there's a lot more stuff on here that I will watch. We're not going to get anime on Disney Plus. We're going to get a lot of classic Disney shows. We're going to get Disney afternoon shows. We're going to get Marvel and Star Wars. I basically checked out of Star Wars. I don't know if I really care. We'll get it because it's only $6 a month for now. I think they're going to jack that up. But it does look like HBO Max is becoming the place for animation. And there are a ton of announcements here. But let's talk about how Crunchyroll is going to fit into this. So this is coming from comicbook.com. In the midst of the Warner Media HBO Max presentation, you may get lost in the onslaught of news released, with old-time favorites such as South Park being exclusive to the streaming service, as well as Studio Ghibli following suit to HBO Max. Fans were also surprised at the revelation that DC Comics properties Green Lantern and Strange Adventures would be getting television series of their own releasing on the service. HBO Max took the opportunity to reconfirm that Crunchyroll, one of the biggest streaming services for anime, would be a part of the channel, sharing its library with the upcoming platform. Why have a standalone Crunchyroll app when you know, I mean, I can see, I guess, if people just want anime, but why have a standalone Crunchyroll app when a lot of people are going to subscribe to HBO Max anyway? What I could see them doing, and now Crunchyroll, they jacked their prices up this year because they're trying to probably justify their existence to HBO, but what I could easily see HBO doing is being like, fine, you're a Crunchyroll subscriber, we'll give you a discount on HBO Max, but we're moving all the anime to HBO Max because we want people to subscribe to this service and not subscribe independently to Rooster Teeth and not subscribe to Crunchyroll and not subscribe to the DC app and all this other junk. We're just going to put everything in one place and just streamline it. And that's what I think is going to happen. HBO Max shared the news that Crunchyroll would assist the platform for now in keeping it fresh with new anime released every quarter, curated by anime experts, proving that the streaming service is looking to get in on the ground room floor of the ever-growing medium that is anime. However, how will this affect Crunchyroll, if at all, is yet to be seen, though it's clear that HBO Max has a lot to gain with this beneficial decision for HBO Max. Crunchyroll currently has around 45 million users worldwide, with millions going one step further and paying for a premium subscription to the service. HBO Max will also be hosting the following channels and platforms on their streaming service, looking to crack into a brand new market with a huge catalog of entertainment. Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema, DC, CNN, TNT, TBS, True TV, the CW, Turner Classic Movies, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Rooster Teeth, Looney Tunes, and more. The Great Conjunction is happening. We've been telling you this. This is what's going to happen. All this content is going to be viewed as HBO Max first. HBO is going to bankroll Rooster Teeth shows. It's going to bankroll original content from Crunchyroll, like High Guardian Spice. It's going to bankroll Batwoman, you know, and then eventually they'll release it to other platforms. That's what we think is going to happen. When Crunchyroll was originally announced for the streaming service, this is what Warner Media said. They said HBO Max will bring together the diverse riches of Warner Media to create programming and user experiences not seen before in a streaming platform. HBO's world-class programming leads the way, the quality of which will be the guiding principle for a new array of Max originals, our exciting acquisitions, and the very best of the Warner Brothers library. So yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the beginning of the end for Crunchyroll as a standalone app. I think it's the beginning of the end of Rooster Teeth as being an independent. I mean, they've not been an independent studio for quite some time. But I think eventually all Rooster Teeth is going to do is create content for HBO Max that will eventually hit Cartoon Network too. That's what's going to happen. Speaking of animation, coming from Cartoon Brew, Warner Media's streaming service, HBO Max is going to be jam-packed with animation. That is true. South Park is coming to it exclusively, which that's huge. South Park is coming too. Okay, so but they're also adding Rick and Morty. HBO Max lands Rick and Morty streaming rights. So this is interesting too. So we've got South Park, we've got Rick and Morty, we've got Cartoon Network, we've got Crunchyroll, we've got Studio Ghibli, you know, we've got all of Rooster Teeth stuff. We've got all the Cartoon Network library. I mean, this, if you're an animation fan, this is going to be the platform to get, I think. I really do. Because Disney, it's just all Disney stuff. It's all Disney content. And honestly, I'm looking at the launch of Disney Plus. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. But it's not, you know, there's a lot of stuff on here I'm not going to watch. I do, however, watch adult animation and I do watch anime. So I'm actually pretty excited about HBO Max. So yeah, they're getting Rick and Morty. You know, the announcement comes along with a number of other new revelation. There's going to be an upcoming Green Lantern series. You know, Green Lantern inspired series. Additional details are being kept under wraps. It's going to be the biggest DC show ever made, and we will be going to space with a Green Lantern television series, but I can't reveal any more about that just yet. Wouldn't it be funny if they got Ryan Reynolds? Wouldn't it be funny? But I have a feeling it's going to be probably a more diverse take on Green Lantern, if I had to guess. Although I would love a Guy Gardner series. I would love a Guy Gardner series. Speaking of DC, they're getting Superhero High, which, what the hell? Superhero High comedy from Elizabeth Banks. This is not a show anybody wants. This is not a show anybody asked for. It sounds like Sky High with DC characters, and they already have the Superhero Girls, which is basically the same thing, but as a cartoon. I guess this is live action. I don't know if anybody wants this. I don't know if anybody wants this. But that is also coming. An Adam Strange series and Green Lantern. So they'll probably, are they going to do, if they get rid of the Arrowverse, are they going to have like a Green Lantern verse, like Green Lantern and Adam Strange are in the same universe? I don't know what that means. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. We're going to watch and see what happens. I am calling it now, though. I think Crunchyroll eventually is going to just get, or at least the premium version of it is going to get rolled into HBO Max, and Rooster Teeth first, which is not first, as we found out with Genlock. It basically is first after HBO Max. I can see that going away too. I can see that going away too. It might not happen for another year or two. I think they're going to kind of, wait and see what happens with HBO Max. But, Warner Media, let's remember, they have no problem just pulling the plug on shows, on services. Geeky was a huge fan of Drama Fever, which had all kinds of K-dramas. It had a huge following. It was making money, and they literally just one day shut it down. Just, yeah, it's done. We're done. No warning, nothing. It was just gone. And that day could come for Crunchyroll. It could, especially with the anime content going to HBO Max. Why keep it in business if all you're going to do is just dump the stuff on the HBO Max? Why have a separate service, This has been Neon, and we'll talk later. Thinking about printing your own comic books, graphic novel, or manga? We recommend our friends over at Print Ninja. We've been using Print Ninja as long as they've been printing comics, and both the quality and price is excellent. Mention Clownfish TV and get an additional 5% overrun of your book order quantity printed for free. For free! That's free books, people. Just mention this offer on the phone or in the additional information box on the quote request form. That's printninja.com, or click on the link in the description below. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.